Welcome back to the 17 News at Noon podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Noon.
Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us for 17 News at Noon. I'm Nicole Gitsky. We begin with President Donald Trump impeached again. President Trump's fate now in the hand of the Senate after another historic vote on Capitol Hill. Every House Democrat and 10 Republicans leading the charge. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi signing the single article of impeachment late Wednesday, accusing the president of incitement of insurrection for his remarks before last week's attacks. And while the president's first impeachment broke along party lines, this vote was the most bipartisan impeachment in U.S. history. All 222 House Democrats supporting it and 10 GOP lawmakers breaking ranks with the president. The next step, the president's impeachment trial in the Senate. The trial won't get underway until next Tuesday at the earliest, one day before the president leaves office. Democrats are urging conviction, they say in part to keep President Trump from ever holding office again. And House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy of Bakersfield was stuck in the middle of the president's impeachment. Now, we caught up with the congressman who addressed his feelings about the impeachment, but also conversations he had with the president. Congressman Kevin McCarthy speaking about the historic second impeachment of President Trump. We talked with him just after he delivered a speech on the House floor, saying the president bears responsibility for the attacks at the Capitol. But during the interview, McCarthy softened his words.
You said, quote, President Trump bears responsibility for Wednesday's attack on Congress. Shouldn't this alone warrant impeachment?
No. What the responsibility, I say on the next line, on the reaction, he should have been faster to denounce who came in. I thought he didn't move fast enough until the next.
Now that, McCarthy says, is worthy of an official congressional censure or rebunk, but he believes it does not constitute a high crime or misdemeanor. Now he's calling on members of his party to openly welcome the next administration. McCarthy says it's time to move forward and turn down the temperature.
Every American should look at one another and say, what can I do to help heal what we're going through right now? It's gone on too long. Too much has been said on social media. Too much has been criticized to one another. Too much judgment because someone has a difference of opinion. That's not who we are. We're Americans. Let's go to our better angels and let's make sure we become a better nation with greater opportunity.
Now, while McCarthy believes the president did not commit an impeachable offense, Kern County's other member of Congress, David Valadao, surprised people on the House floor by voting to impeach President Trump. Now, this is the Hanford Republicans' first official act since returning to Congress after a 2-year absence. He's one of 10 Republicans to break ranks. In a statement explaining his vote, Valadao said Trump's, quote, inciting rhetoric was un-American, abhorrent, and absolutely an impeachable offense. Valadao also said House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has, quote, thrown precedent and process out the window by turning what should be a thorough investigation into a rushed political stunt. Valadao said he'd hoped for more time to hold hearings to ensure due process, but based on the facts before him, he said he had to, quote, go with his gut and vote his conscience. Now to promising news on the fight against coronavirus. Today is the first day for those 65 and older to get the vaccine. Health leaders estimate another 6.6 million people are now eligible. The news came yesterday from Governor Gavin Newsom. And joining us live is Moses Small. He is at Omni Family Health, where they are beginning to vaccinate those who meet the criteria. Moses, tell us more.
Thank you. So I'm out here in front of Omni Family Health, where the clinic gave the Moderna coronavirus vaccine to some of the most vulnerable members of the public today for the first time, taking a major step towards wiping out the pandemic.
People over 65 know that their lives are really important, and we're so excited that we're going to be able to protect folks. So what we're going to be doing today is giving one of our first vaccines to someone who is over or who is age 65 or over. We actually have 20 patients scheduled this morning. We have more scheduled in the afternoon.
And the vaccine rollout is running behind schedule nationwide as low vaccine supplies and a shortage of manpower slow down the process. This comes as 1 out of every 11 people in the county has caught the disease, and hospitals struggle to contain a tidal wave of patients. Kern now breaks hospitalization records nearly every week amid the current surge. Doctors say we are seeing a surge in cases currently from Christmas travel and gatherings, and we could be on the verge of the largest influx of cases yet due to New Year's celebrations. And health experts say 80 to 90% of the population needs to receive the vaccine in order to reach herd immunity. So today's vaccinations for members of the public ages 65 and older are a major step on a long road ahead of us. In Southwest Bakersfield, Moses Small, 17 News.
All right, thanks for that, Moses. Now, a reminder to those in all 3 tiers of Phase 1A of the rollout, they can sign up to get their shots. That includes workers at primary health care clinics, correctional facilities, urgent cares, also eligible public health field staff, lab workers, and dental clinic employees. Kern Public Health's website has an interactive map of providers that are offering the vaccine. If you're eligible, you can find the provider nearest you and call them to make an appointment. And now to the latest numbers here in Kern County. Public Health reports 908 new cases, along with 1 death. 551 people have died since March. Hospitalizations continue to be a growing issue. According to state data, 446 people are in the hospital. 98 are in the ICU with the most severe symptoms. Currently, 16 ICU beds are available. More than 82,000 people have caught the virus since the beginning of the pandemic. That's about 1 out of every 11 people in the county. More than 43,000 people, that's more than half, have an active case of the virus and are recovering at home. And even if you're not feeling sick, Public Health says it's important to get a coronavirus test, and there are several sites that offer those tests for free. There are 11 sites across the county, including the Kern County Fairgrounds, Sagebrush Medical Plaza, and Clinica Sierra Vista in Bakersfield, Arvin, and Lamont. All testing sites are available for walk-up or drive-through. You can find these test sites, plus a full list of all local testing sites on Kern Public Health's website. There's an interactive map in both English and Spanish, both information on hours of operation, addresses, and other important information. And our previously scheduled coronavirus town hall was postponed yesterday due to the ongoing impeachment coverage. That town hall is now scheduled for tonight during 17 News at 5. 17's Alex Fisher and Maddie Jansen will speak with the county's top doctors and health officials about the state of our local healthcare system. They'll also talk about information you need to know about receiving a vaccine and when you'll be able to get the shot. That's all happening tonight during 17 News at 5. And there's an urgent need of blood donations as supply is running low. Houghton says it needs all blood types. Now they're also asking for platelets, plasma, and COVID-19 convalescent plasma. Now the blood bank is offering an incentive. If you donate plasma, platelets, or convalescent plasma, you'll be entered into a daily drawing for a $250 gift card. They'll be offering these gift cards through the rest of the month. For more information or to make an appointment, head to hcbb.com. Welcome back. In your 17 Crime Watch, 2 people are dead and 2 others were wounded after a string of shootings broke out yesterday across Bakersfield. The latest happened in the 1700 block of Panama Lane just before 10 last night. Police say they responded to a report of a person under a car in an alley. When officers arrived, they found 1 victim with multiple gunshot wounds. Authorities say he was pronounced dead at the scene. Details are still limited at this time. Police have not revealed information about a suspect or the identity of the victim. And just hours earlier, 2 people were shot near the Valley Plaza. Officers were called to the area for a report of a shooting around 7:15. When they arrived, they didn't find anything until a call came in minutes later for a car found on a median at Oak Street and Truxton Avenue. The car had blood and bullet holes in it. Just before 7:32, victims arrived at Mercy downtown with gunshot wounds, and first responders found bullet casings at the Valley Plaza. Authorities say 1 victim sustained major wounds while the other's wounds were moderate. Both are expected to survive. Police have not released any information about a suspect. And an investigation is ongoing after a man running from police died from an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound. Bakersfield police say it happened just after 5 last night in the area of Q and 28th Streets. Bakersfield police say officers pulled over a vehicle for a traffic violation. That's when the car's only passenger got out of the car and ran off. One officer chased after the suspect while the other stayed with the driver.
Within seconds of beginning the foot pursuit of the subject, the officer heard a gunshot. The officer responded to the location where he heard the gunshot and discovered the subject that had fled from the vehicle, suffering from an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound.
The man was pronounced dead at the scene. Police say the man had climbed several fences, and the pursuing officer was not near him when the gun fired. First responders say there were multiple witnesses nearby, and the officer was wearing a body camera during the chase. Authorities say an investigation is underway to find out whether the apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound was intentional or accidental. The driver of the vehicle is in police custody. The man's identity will be released by the Kern County's coroner's office at a later date. Now, if you know anything about any of these incidents, you are urged to contact Bakersfield Police at 327-7111. And police are investigating a crash that left a bicyclist with major injuries. According to Bakersfield Police, it happened last night around 5 near the intersection of Verde Street and H Street. BPD has not said how the bicyclist was hit, but they did say the female driver remained at the scene. The man riding the bike was taken to the hospital with major injuries. And drivers may have encountered delays on their commute this morning. According to California Highway Patrol, as many as 5 vehicles were involved in a crash that led to fluids being spilled on the roadway. CHP says no injuries were reported. All lanes have since reopened at about 10:30 this morning. And a local Target employee is accused of stealing more than $30,000 from the business. Bakersfield police say 37-year-old Becky Fernandez was arrested back on December 27th for felony embezzlement. Target contacted police and provided video evidence. Fernandez has been an employee at the Target near the park at Riverwalk since 2018. Target sent an email today saying Fernandez was terminated after violating store policies, including removing cash from the store and giving it to scammers. The attorney representing Fernandez said that his client is the victim of a scam. Now, according to court records, Fernandez has not yet been charged. And today marks 24 days since 2 young California City boys were reported missing, with police not giving up the search. 3-year-old Orson and 4-year-old Orrin West were reported missing December 21st. Now, last night, over 50 law enforcement personnel searched the area of Silver Saddle for nearly 3 hours. The search was prompted after Cal City received information about a white van spotted in the area the week the boys were reported missing. Police say nothing useful was found. Now, multiple awards have been offered for information on the boys, totaling $80,000. Now, anyone with information can call the California City Police Department at 760-373-8606 or the Secret Witness Hotline at 322-4040.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Noon.
The 17 News at Noon podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to KGET.com.